Hey guys, welcome back to another entry of the Dry Diaries. It's your author, Alex Dry, and today I'm super excited because I'm joined with Danielle Paige. She is an astrologer, but also a spiritual coach. So many different
things.
I know. I feel like initially I saw your stuff and I was more into the astrology side, but then like deep diving into the different podcasts you've been on, like what you've been doing, I'm like, wow, there's so many more layers to what you do.
Thank you for seeing that, first of all, because a lot of people can't really see that. I get pinned as just an astrologer, which there's nothing wrong with that, but there's so much more depth and layers. So thank you for seeing that. I appreciate it.
Of course. Whenever you have like spiritual gift like astrology, people naturally have so many other spiritual gifts that like come along just in a natural way. So I'm really excited to talk to you.
Yeah, too.
You're currently in Miami.
No, so I'm actually... This is what's crazy. So I'm from LA.
Okay.
And then this is funny, in 2022, I was like, F it with LA, like all the BS that was happening here. So I moved to Miami. Okay. My family's in Florida. And so I was there for about a year and a half. And then I was like, I liked it, but I missed my community here. I missed Air One, let's be honest. I couldn't survive without it. So I moved back here, moved to the Palisades.
Okay.
Was living there. And then before the fire, I moved to a different location in the Palisades. I moved to the Village. That was like my dream location because I work from home. Like you just walk downstairs and then there's Air One and it's the cutest thing ever. So that was my dream place with like my situation right now. And so I moved there and then... 2 months in, then there was the fire, and I was the only unit that burned. There were 2 stores that burned, but I was the only residential unit that burned down.
Wow, completely burned down.
So half of it burned, and then half of it was filled with black mold because the sprinklers were on and nobody could go in there for 2 weeks. If a fire enters your house, basically you have to throw everything away. So I had to see half of my stuff and throw it all away, like delegate it out. I had to go through black mold, make sure there weren't like jump drives with like social security numbers on there, go through some files with black mold on there. And every single thing in my unit was dumped except for I think I have 3 crystals that I cleaned off. And there was one closet that had a couple paintings that were in the back because they were in like a cubby hole that were salvaged. But the rest of my stuff, I lost 99% of my stuff.
Wow.
I lost everything, really. I didn't have anything. Yeah.
So then from there, you're forced.
So then I moved back to Florida. That's probably what you thought because my family lives there because I have no home. I have no clothes. I have nothing.
Wow.
Literally. So I moved back in with my family to rest, heal, process. And then I just moved back to LA about 2 weeks ago. Not because I was actually planning on coming back here. I wasn't. But this is the irony of all this beautiful furnished place. Like, my background's in interior design, so I love interior design. And Spirit knows that I'm not going to live somewhere with like ugly furnishings. I'm sorry if that's obnoxious, but no, it's energy, it's frequency, and I love interior design. So like I couldn't just move into a random place with ugly furnishings long term. Beautiful place landed in my lap. I saw it in around June and I was like, oh my God, that looks like I designed it. It looks like I decorated it, but I'm not ready for it. So I put it to the side. And then in September during the eclipses, and whatever happens during the eclipses is a line for your path. It somehow landed back in my lap, appeared, it wasn't rented out, and I knew this was a gift for me. And so I took it because I'm like, you know what, I knew this was my next step. And the next step doesn't need to make sense to anyone except your soul. And I knew that I just needed to move out of my parents' house, get grounded, be in my own space. And it's beautiful, has furniture because again, I have nothing. I didn't even have a fork to my name.
You shouldn't feel bad about that because also myself, I feel like we have so many similarities. I'm obsessed with interior design.
Oh, love that.
I literally just last night was decorating for Christmas.
Aww,
like I just love having, if you're especially working from your house, having a space where, you know, is designed and curated by you or it feels like it was curated for you is so important. Like you were saying, frequency, energy, everything. But losing everything and having to go back to Florida and living at your parents, was that almost a surreal moment? Obviously, you had to do a lot of healing. But at the same time, was it a little bit cleansing in some ways?
So I will tell you everything. I don't hold anything back. I have no shame. In the beginning, when I was going to move back there, I had people tell me, don't tell your audience you're moving back to your family's house. And I said, guess what? I am my brand and I'm always honest and I have nothing to hide. Sometimes people need to move back for financial reason and that happens, but it wasn't like that happened to me. There was a fire and there were 6,000 people in the Palisades and Malibu that got their houses burned down and then the Eaton fire.
Yeah.
So it was my direction from spirit right away, is that's the only thing I heard is go back to Florida. So I knew that I just needed to go there and land. So yes, in a way, it's like I had to stay here I didn't get there until basically it was February 28th. So from January 7th to February 28th, I was dealing with all of the bullshit, all of the politics, all the things, all the government agencies. I didn't have a break. I was still trying to process, and I was still trying to deal with all the things. If your house burned down, that is a tragic thing, but you deal with a different set of issues. If your house didn't burn half, but then didn't burn, you deal with a different set. So there was so much BS that came with that I had to deal with. So when I got there, it's like I finally took a breath and I cried. And I think I just sat there for a week and didn't do anything. I was on my parents' porch, and I just needed to just really land in my body of what the hell just happened. Because even afterwards, I was in survival mode because I had to take care of so many things, and I had to go back in the house in a hazmat suit, and it was so upsetting to imagine seeing your stuff and knowing that every single item needs to be thrown away. Yeah, so it was horrific on all levels for everyone. It's just we just had different levels of horrific. So at first it was beautiful and it was great, and I'm still so grateful for that. So let me say that a lot of people didn't have a family that they could go back to. So I've always known I was grateful for that. And my dog was really happy there because he has my parents' dogs and he loves dogs. So he came alive and he was great. We joke that we're like, did my dog start the fire? Because he just wanted to come back to Florida, and he's a rescue, so he's scared a lot all the time. Okay, so basically with the fire and at their house, this is what people won't always share. I sat there and I was in my parents' extra bedroom, and I'm looking around and I'm like, I went from living my best life. I was literally living my best life to this. Like the closet was empty. Things are expensive, and also you curate your life. And I designed my life that was built for me. And I just work with a stylist, and I'm petite, so everything in the closet fit me and was tailored to me.
Oh.
Yeah. So I sat there and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And here's the thing I want to share. I've been through so many awakenings. Like I should tell you my first awakening, and I've been through so much. The moment when I saw that I was the only unit that burned, I sat there and I said, of course it was. Not of course because things always happen to me. It was of course because I know my journey in this lifetime. I signed up for some crazy things to move rapidly and evolve my consciousness and help humanity. When that happened, I said, of course it did, because I knew there's another awakening coming in. And I knew that there's nothing that happens by accident. I know that. So I had that awareness, I had that knowing, but I'm going to tell you, you can't bypass the human journey. I know that I'm going to be okay. I know that this happened for my soul. And then I found out more information later that my soul signed up for this because my soul knew that I could handle this.
Yeah.
And it was going to propel me faster on my spiritual evolution than if I didn't go through this. I got hits of that right away. But what I want to say is I'm still human. I still have to process and I still have feelings. And that was a couple dark nights of the soul that was sitting there of like, where do I go? I worked so hard. I built my business from the ground up for everything that I had, and it was gone in a second. And that's a lot to process. And what do I want to do? And then shortly afterwards, and I'm sharing all this because I want people to see the real and the raw. Shortly after, probably 2 to 3 months afterwards, I then quickly saw, okay, it wasn't just the fire. Everything in my life needed to be burned down. And I go, oh, shit. Because I knew what was coming. And so I spent from like April to September. It was an interesting summer. It was a lot of processing because my operations manager, who was with me for 7 years, she left. Not on bad terms or anything, just it was time for her to move on. And I knew, I was like, of course this is happening now because everything is changing. And then my business, I've been doing this for 17 years. And I'm like, where is this path going? And I had to take a step back. So I had to stop and halt my business to really check in with myself to be like, what do I want to share? What do I want to talk about? Where am I going? And I knew that I needed to die off on many levels and then be reborn again. And then friends left and there was just so many things. So I basically have being reborn on every area of my life. And the fire was a catalyst for that. It got dark at times, but I had to sit through it.
And I think for anyone that like is judgmental on the fact that okay, it's material things, but also that's hard-earned money that you put into things that you love.
Yes.
And those are things that you chose to spend on. And with the loss of whatever it may be, there's nothing negative to say about that, because also, like, energetically, like, clothes hold energy. That's something that you love, invested in. And even like the interior decor of it, like, to lose a space like that is such a detrimental thing to do. And then also going back home, like, I can totally relate. This past summer, or I guess like last year, I went from LA back to Texas.
It's a temporary place. It's very transitory.
Yeah, but I was there and I was basically in solitude for, I would say, 6 months, except being around family. And of course, my dog loved it because it's on a ranch. So he's like living his best life. But I'm like, okay, I need this time. And then I hit the point where I was like, okay, I need to now go back to community and be back around people and places that I love. So I recently came back to LA as well.
Amazing.
And so I can totally relate on a different level.
Yeah.
But being in solitude and healing and almost losing and having that die-off experience, like old things, old relationships, old friendships, and like coming back, and it's refreshing, but it's also, whoa. Like,
it's a dark night, and there's seasons and cycles for everything, and that's what I try to teach, and we have to honor it. Yeah. I have some dates for you because I looked at your birth chart. So you're going through a Pluto transit. So there's no way you weren't going through your dark night, any dark night of the soul at some point, because you're going through a Pluto transit.
Let's talk about it.
It's more than just black and white.
I've definitely, within that time frame, I have had so many spiritual awakenings, also just stepping into like myself. And I'm still honestly figuring out, because you can probably see on my chart, I love so many different things.
South Node and Gemini.
And so I literally have had different careers, all been successful, but like now I'm like, okay, I want to hone in on one thing.
That's really good for your path.
And so I'm really trying to figure out what that is. But I feel like that's why when I was watching your stuff, I was like, wow, like I'm really inspired by you, because a lot of things that you've done is things that I've been through recently. And it was like very encouraging and inspiring as well. Okay, there's 2 things that I want to get into, but I want to get into the dream you had the night before the LA fire, because I think that this is fascinating, but also just a testament to your gift, your intuition. And
my dreams tell me things all the time. And the night before the fire, which I keep saying I need to post to Instagram, but I will do that after this airs. My dog, ever since we moved into this house right after Thanksgiving, my dog has not been okay. Throwing up, bathroom. I was constantly at the vet at 2 or 3 in the morning, bloody stool. He definitely is a nervous dog, but it got to another level. So he was not okay. He would see things and I would see things. But for him, because he doesn't bark, and he would bark at certain things the morning of, but the day before, he was up and I was up with him the entire night. Didn't sleep. He was pacing. He actually looked like he was possessed. To be honest, he knew. His soul knew. You can tell because the moment we moved in there, he wasn't happy. And it was a beautiful place. So, but something in the back of my spine knew I wasn't fully settled. I wasn't sleeping well. And I just, like, things I kept saying to my family, I'm like, this is my dream place, but like I couldn't get fully settled because my soul knew something was coming. Okay, so he was up the whole night, so I didn't sleep. So the day before the fire, I had an appointment far away and I was exhausted. So I came back and I think I went to sleep at 8 o'clock because I was up the whole night before. So I slept 10, 12 hours the morning of the fire. If it was at night, I probably would have died because I was in the deepest sleep of my life. Like, I don't think I would have woken up. So thank God it was during the day because it saved many lives. I woke up from my dream and I said, holy shit, I knew something had happened. This might sound strange, but I knew that they purposely wiped some of it from me so I didn't see it. But there was something intense. I saw myself back in Florida and I was going from place to place, rushing in a panic. And I woke up and I said, something happened, but I knew that they wiped it from me and purposely did not let me see. So then that morning of the fire, I was like, this is what's so funny. The morning of the fire, I told my team, I'm like, okay, I can't work before 10 because I have stuff to do. I want to do my morning rituals. I was so happy in my space. I was in my robe. Then I went to walk my dog. And I'm like, I said in the morning, I'm so grateful. Like, I sat there in my robe with my nervous system so relaxed, saying, I'm so grateful for this space. And like, for I manifested living here. Okay. And then about an hour before I first started hearing the sirens, I get this flash, this download, and I see it with my third eye, me going through the closet And I heard you're going to have to simplify. So I saw myself going through my closet one by one and just looking. And I'm like, that's weird because I didn't have anything in my house that was like junk. And so I'm like, that's weird. And they impressed the feeling of dread in my body. So I knew something was coming. And so I just stopped. I'm like, I don't know what this is. But again, they're purposely not telling me, like, you're not supposed to know everything. So then all of a sudden, an hour later, I start hearing fire engines. And I'm like, I ignored it at first because it's LA, you always hear stuff.
Yeah.
And then I kept hearing it. So I go outside and I look down, and on my balcony, you could see Air One right there in the Palisades. And all of a sudden I see all these people holding their phones and looking up. So I turn, and then the entire mountain's on fire. So then I run back in. I like sat on the couch for a second because I didn't know what to do. I just froze to be like, is this going to be near me? Because like I'm near the hills, but usually it stays in the hills. I come back outside and I hear spirit say immediately, go now. And when they impressed that in my body, it was like, I got so nervous because I knew the intensity and the fear that they put in me before my section was evacuated, because everyone, I don't know if you saw, but everyone got stuck in the Palisades and they had to run from their cars. So they were helping me because I would have been those people.
Wow.
And to run with a dog that has trauma and people are trying to carry their bags or whatever they have. So I was able to take 3 suitcases. I just threw stuff in, but that's it. As I was going through, this is what I also want you to hear. Spirit was speaking to me so clearly. They were guiding me as I was going through. Obviously, it was my journey and my process to not know everything, because they would like, and I'm thinking like, what am I going to take the couch? I can't carry the couch. I can't carry, like, what am I going to take? So I took my purses and a couple things of clothes, but that's it. So as I was going through, though, I'm thinking, oh my God, all my pictures and all this. And I hear Spirit say the memories are in your heart. And then I'm like, Chanel's not in my heart. So that's when I took all my purses. Because literally, like, I was so like going through, and they were talking to me and they were just like, just go, just go. And it took me an hour to get to Santa Monica, the park, the Palisades park down there. It took me 45 minutes to an hour just to get there. So they saved me from having to leave with all the people. So Spirit was guiding me the entire way. So I actually feel blessed on so many levels, because I was also home with my dog the day before. People were having trouble getting back into the Palisades.
Yeah.
So honestly, yes, I lost everything. Honestly, over $1 million worth of stuff I lost. Insurance barely helped me. FEMA didn't help me. And nobody gives a shit. So it's like you're on your own. But I feel blessed because I was home with my dog. And honestly, that's the most important thing that matters.
Yeah.
So long story short.
As you and your dog made it out.
Thank God. Thank God.
The dog is the most important. With me and my dog, I couldn't even imagine.
And then we had to go to this hotel, and there was all these people, and it was like such hysteria. And then I went to a friend's house. It was such hysteria that I kept giving him homeopathics. And he was actually like, okay.
Pretty chill.
Because he knew that I was like trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, that's amazing, though, that you're able to get the downloads and listen whenever it is spoken into you, that it's so clear.
So clear. And because I know when they come through, I listen. I know when it's my soul. I know when it's spirit. I know when it's for my purpose. And it's like, you don't mess around with that.
And speaking of your purpose, like everything that you've been through, you said that there's been several things that have happened throughout the time.
Oh my God.
You're like so much.
I'm exhausted at this point. Like,
I'm tired. Just give me a break.
Just give me a break.
I know I'm doing good for everyone else around me, but just give me a break. I have family members that have autoimmune diseases, and I saw you speak about that you had or have currently, because you don't really get rid of it necessarily, is Lyme's.
Yes.
And so can you speak about that?
So that was pretty horrific. It was really intense. So 2017, I got sick and I had no idea about any of this stuff. Like there's so much I had to learn. Yeah. I've had doctors recently say to me, wow, you could be a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, because I had to learn about everything because I was dying. I was crawling on the ground, slurring my words. It was horrific. So anyways, I went through Lyme from 2017 to about 2021 is when it started getting better. There's so much to say about this. And every time I say Lyme to me was a gift, and that pisses off the Lyme community. They're like, how could you say that? And they get so pissed. So first of all, I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm speaking for me. My whole soul plan for me going through Lyme was to learn about the mind, body, soul connection. I was so out of my body before, disconnected, channeling like on another plane, but didn't really know I was when I was younger. And not in my body because I didn't feel safe. I had eating disorder when I was 21. So many things that I wasn't here. And so this was my journey to come back in. And what better way when you're sick in bed and you can't do anything? You are here, you are present. And it's a journey. So I knew the whole time that I didn't come to earth to be sick. But I knew from my soul that this was something that I was going through that I had to learn and I had to process. So yes, I had to process a lot of emotions. It's a lot of trauma. I don't think there's one thing that gives you Lyme or gives someone cancer. I think it's a culmination of several things. We have a tipping point in our body. My body was just at its tipping point from trauma, from growing up, and we all have trauma in different ways and different levels, from growing up on sugar and eating crap, and everything was just hitting the max. I had to process, I had to learn, I had to literally birth my new body in a way. So I went through that, and then I started healing, but I was still very swollen. I'm still dealing with inflammation to this day because there's stuff. I don't believe that it ever goes away, but I believe it becomes dormant and then your body can heal. I'm still dealing with inflammation and stuff off and on with my thyroid that I'm dealing with right now. But overall, I can get out of bed. I can think clearly. I can do things. I'm just going to share this and we can go into it or not. But I had breast implants and Spirit told me to take those out. And they told me that I was going to get lymphoma if I didn't take it out. I got them when I was 22, and I think I got them out when I was like 42. So it was a journey. And then I got them out because I just knew from Spirit. And I honestly, so people will say wishful thinking, but I'm going to tell you, I didn't even think it was going to help, but I just knew because that's how connected I am to my soul that they had to go. So I was crying up until the minute. I was like, no, because I thought I was going to be butchered and this and that. And I didn't know what I was going to look like. So I took it out. The whole point is within 3 months, my body completely went back. I lost all the inflammation. I looked amazing. My body completely changed. I had implants. And to be honest, I probably would have kept them in if Spirit didn't tell me to take them out. So there's no shade. There's no shame for anyone that has it. And we're allowed to do what we want with our body. But why I bring it up is for awareness, because I just want people to have awareness, because when I got these in, I had no idea. And it honestly saved my life. And I know I've shared this and so many people have taken it out and they said their life has completely changed.
And I think everyone has a different story to tell and they should be able to share it, because one story is not going to relate to everyone, but it's going to relate to that one person who needed it. And that's all that matters. So how you healed yourself with Lyme's, was it through natural protocols?
Yeah.
Is that...
I wouldn't say there was one thing that helped, because a lot of people ask that and I get it. Like they're sick. What helped? What helped? I would ask the same thing. It was a journey. It was a transformation. It was like 5 years, I would say, about. And that's a long time to not be feeling good and toughens you up in a way too, because like I had to do a lot of work. There was one point where I had to pay for medical bills. And so I remember just launching a course from my bed because that's all I could do to pay for the medical bills. So I didn't go through Western medicine. I started doing that in the beginning because, again, I didn't know the things that I know now. And I kept going. They kept giving me antibiotics and it kept making me worse. And then I'm like, wait, something's not helping here. And then Spirit said, stop. And then they pointed me. So what they would do on this journey is they would point me one by one in a direction. And so just if anyone is going through this, like I know what it feels like to be so sick that you can't get out of bed, that I wasn't suicidal. I just wanted to die because you feel horrible. Yeah. So I feel you and I understand. Just trust that, just put one foot in front of the other and the road will open, the light will open, and there will be one thing. You'll meet one person, they'll say one thing, and then they'll lead you to another thing. And trust that process, because that's what it did for me. So it was just a combination of coffee enemas and colonics helped me a lot. Lymphatic massage, because you need to move everything out of the body. I have an amp coil that changed my life. Pulse electromagnetic frequency device. I had to change the way I ate. I had to process a lot of my emotions. I think a lot of people miss the spiritual component, and we're mind, body, soul. My brand is called Cosmic Body for a reason. We're truly cosmic bodies, and the cosmic body is connected to the ethers, connected to the soul, connected to your physical body as well. So you have to look at it from all angles. It's not just one. And there's a lot, anytime we have trauma and grief, it is stored in our body. There's so many components. And look at our food now. It has chemicals in it. Awful. So again, we can't say it's just one piece. Yeah. So many layers to the cake, but you have to start taking off some of the layers. And it's a returning home to everything. It's everything. It's a returning home to self. And that's been my journey. And that's what I teach. Above all, it's just come home. And it's like, I'm learning every day. I don't have everything figured out at all. Trust me. It's a process.
Trauma is stored in the body through. And even like when I spoke to, she does aura reading. She also has the gift of like mediumship a little bit. Yeah. And then I saw a guy that does Reiki, and both on 2 separate occasions, they're like, what is going on with your right hip?
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with your dad? So I had to work through with them different things, but I was like, wow. It's also reassuring when you go to different healers.
And they say the same thing. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's an imprint in our field. And it's not to be like obsessed that, oh my God, we have to look for perfection, but it's just, I believe we came here to learn how to love, be loved, contribute to the world, and also evolve our soul.
Yeah.
And that's really, you could be spiritual or not spiritual, but the reality is we are evolving our consciousness. That's why we're on earth.
I do have a question. So I know that your background or your religion, you're Jewish, correct? So how do you mix the two spiritual sides with your religion? Because that's a lot of questions that I get from people. Is, oh, with your religion, how do you believe in like the past life stuff or this, that, and the other? Are you open to talking?
Oh, you asked a really good question. There's a lot to say here, but to answer your question, my whole life when I was a kid, I wanted nothing to do with religion. I needed to take my own journey.
Yeah.
I needed to arrive and land in my own space. And then on October 7th, the massacre that happened in Israel, that woke up my soul on a very different level that I was even shocked at. Yes, tragedy is sad everywhere, but I felt it viscerally. I felt it in a way I was shocked about. I didn't eat for 3 days because I was so sad and I was so sick to my stomach, calling friends to see who was alive, if their friends or their aunts or their cousins were dead. People didn't know. People were slaughtered. Families were dead. It was really unbelievable. When that happened, I heard spirit. I saw my ancestors line up on both sides of me. They said, "You're Jewish, speak for us." And before that, I've never done anything with Judaism because I just needed to go on my own path with God in my own way.
Yeah.
And so I understand this is a very controversial subject. It really shouldn't be because no one is here about hating anyone. I care about everyone. So I don't want people to project things onto me that are not true. What I did do is start speaking up about hostages because people in the world didn't know that there were hostages taken. I knew people that their son was a hostage, right? So I spoke up about that on my socials because I felt that was my duty to share with the world that there are hostages. If you want the war to end, and this is complicated. So I'm aware that this didn't just start on October 7th, but I spoke up about that. And since then, I've had an awakening on another level of my soul and our DNA. And here's the thing, we choose our lineage for a reason. So there's a reason why I chose this. I started studying Kabbalah. I started learning that Judaism is actually in the Torah. It's all over the Torah. I'm learning Kabbalistic astrology as well now. I'm mixing it in. But the funny part is I've actually been teaching astrology from a Kabbalistic lens without knowing it was a Kabbalistic lens because my soul already knew this. So I'm mixing it in. But at the end of the day, we're souls. I feel a connection to God regardless. And I'm just deepening my root chakra. I'm deepening my lineage. And I'm learning that I did suppress it. I suppressed it for many lifetimes because I've had lots of dreams about me being persecuted for that. So that's part of why I suppressed it. So to go back to your question, how do I incorporate it in? I'm not so religious that there's all these rules and I can't do that. That's just not how I live my life. But at the end of the day, like people think, first of all, I can't tell you that I've read the whole Bible. I have not. But I know that astrology is in the Bible. It just depends on your perception of it. Some people will be like, it's the devil's work. And then some people are like, actually, no, the real Ivory, she's Christian. She had me on her podcast. She knows about the Bible and she was putting phrases from the Bible about astrology. Oh, wow. Some of her audience didn't like that I was. And then some of her audience was really open to, what I had to say.
Her podcast is Christian based.
Yeah. And so it was really interesting to have that conversation with her. It was beautiful. And at the end of the day, astrology has been around since the beginning of time. It's not new age. It's actually an ancient mystical tool. And it's when I teach astrology to people, I tell them it's not everything, but it's a beautiful tool.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So I weave it in. I'm learning every day more and more, but I don't see how it gets in the way because we're source. We're God incarnated into human flesh. Look at the moon, look at the tides. Look at our menstrual cycle. There's a cosmic rhythm to everything that's going on. And the people that are like astrology is bullshit or whatever, listen, it's okay. You do you. But what I will say is that I can pull up anyone's birth chart and I can see the cycles that they're under. And you could sit here and be a non-believer and I can tell you the cycles that are going on. And I would not continue doing this work if it wasn't right in the world. How did I know in 2019 that 2020 was going to be a shit show? Because I looked at the astrology for this. How do you see things coming in and it shows you timing and cycles?
Even like recently, isn't like the next couple years or the year that we're in right now with astrology like a time of war
Oh,
of
yeah.
some sort?
Uranus going into Gemini. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like wars and civil wars. And oh, yeah, you just stand back and watch. You can see it already being set up.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Okay. When was the moment? Because you have such a strong gift of intuitions, your spirit guides are with you. At what moment did you know this is my path, astrology?
When I was 30, I was going through my Saturn return and I didn't know it was a Saturn return. So I was dumped in France on my 30th birthday with my boyfriend who I was living with in Boston. So that changed everything. I was working in an interior architecture firm. I love design, but I was like, this is not it. I need to help people. There's something else, but I had no idea what that was. So anyways, I get dumped in France. We come back. I got to move out. I realize I don't like my job anyways. I'm going to quit.
Oh, you get dumped, broken
I
up
get
with.
dumped in France on my 30th birthday
I
at
meant, like,
dinner.
wait.
We go to France together and he dumps my ass on my 30th birthday. And I'm like,
On your
I literally,
birthday?
yeah, it was my 30th birthday. And I go, thank God we're not getting engaged. Or thank God we're not married or on our honeymoon because what is this shit?
Wow.
Yeah. And listen, I was a very different person. Now, if that happened, I would be like, peace out. See ya. But like, I was broke then, different person. I didn't have the confidence I have. So anyways, we come back. I quit my job. I get the intuition again. I don't know it's spirit telling me, but it was like, move back to California. So then I moved back to California in with my parents, who I haven't lived with since I was 18. We didn't have a great relationship at the time, but I had to go back to build that relationship. So this was 2009. The economy tanked. There were no design jobs. Literally, everyone was getting laid off. It was like horrific. I'm now crying over a breakup. I'm totally broke. I'm 30. I'm like winning. This is like not it. And then, I don't know, maybe a month later, I wake up and I start seeing spirits. And at first I'm like, holy shit. I thought I had to tell my family that I need help because I'm like, no, something's wrong. But then I realized this was the clincher. I was like, wait a minute. If I was losing my mind, I wouldn't have the awareness that I know that I look crazy. And I'm not even trying to be mean to anyone, but I'm telling you, I knew I looked crazy. But I'm like, but if you are actually losing your mind, you don't have the awareness. So then spirit was like, meditate. And I'm like, what the hell is meditation? Okay, this was 17 years ago. And I'm like, I don't know what meditation is. So I just sat down and I was like opening one eye and like trying to figure it out. And then I would sit down for hours at a time and I would like zoom off in all these places. I would get all this information and I'm like, oh, something's happening. So that started my journey. But then I was led to astrology and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And so that night I went home, I Googled birth charts astrology, and I basically started learning it. But my soul already knew this and I didn't stop. And that was it. It was like hook, line, and sinker. I was in and I taught myself astrology, then started taking classes. And then I've been doing this ever since. And now I'm just adding Kabbalistic astrology because it's just another layer of your soul. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's been a journey. But yeah, so I started seeing spirits and that was it. I started seeing beyond this veil. And I started realizing there's a world beyond this material world, which I had no idea about before I was 30.
Full moons, new moons. And then also, what is the difference
Between
like full moon and
So new moons it's right after the balsamic moon. So the moon comes from behind the sun. So there's not a lot of light. So new moons, everyone says, oh, it's a new time, jump out and go do things. It's actually not a lot of light. So it's time to go slow. It's time to plant the seeds, get the ideas for the next 29-ish day cycle. But it's really a time of like low energy because there's not a lot of light. So it's just a time to plant your seeds, write things out, get organized, and see where you want to go. A full moon is when the moon is opposite the sun. So the light is reflecting, the light is bright. During full moons, people go more to the emergency room because everything is at its height. I like to say the glass is full and it's overflowing. Okay. So it's like you can't stop the water, it's overflowing. So a lot of people say that the full moon is like, what are you going to let go? It's not 100% right. It's not totally wrong. The balsamic moon is when you let go. So right before the new moon. The full moon, I like to say, it's just you put your hands up and whatever is going to come to light is going to come to light. So yes, in a way it is a letting go, but the balsamic moon, like if you want to do ritual and burn things and let it go, do that during the balsamic moon. The full moon is like, let it be. Things are coming to light. What's coming to your consciousness? Like where are your triggers that you didn't see before? So it's like you got to play with that energy. So it's actually a really good time for ritual magic. That's why I do my full moons. My meditations are on the full moon because our emotions are heightened. So you can tap into your soul more.
Are you a big believer in manifesting?
Manifesting is a layered question.
Yeah.
Or my answer to that. And yes, the short of it is we manifest every day because we're creating, but it's more than I think some of the stuff that you just see online. And also there's something that I've been sharing for a long time is we have certain soul contracts. So when I was 31 maybe, Spirit was very clear that my husband, my partner, my life partner for me is going to be later in life. I knew that everything was going to be later in life for me because that was what my journey, that's what I needed. Sure. Have I dated people? Have I been in love? Absolutely. But the man that's for me is always going to be later in life. When you see people, it's like manifest your husband in a week or a day. It's sure I could bring someone in, but if I'm really listening to my soul, and I already know, like I see what he looks like, he's out there, he's in my field. I don't want to say wait for that, but be in alignment with that. I could take a course and manifest a guy, I could go on Hinge and I could have a date. And I'm sure like he's a nice guy and it works out. If I'm listening to my soul and my highest potential, then we have certain soul contracts. So there's certain timing. And not everyone is that, but that was my path and my journey. And they also showed me because I'm here to be an example of not settling. And I was like, fuck that. I could cancel, delete. I don't want that assignment.
Yeah. I love that because I feel like I'm the exact same way. Even have gotten married and done the whole thing. But unfortunately, like knowing my personality, it probably would have ended in divorce like years later. And so just like listening and not settling and really waiting for that person who's a part of your contract is like, one, just it takes a lot of discipline.
It takes a lot of discipline, let me tell you. And yeah, I think there's not enough credit for people that are, it seems like our society rewards marriage. And while I actually am very traditional when it comes to those things, and I think it's beautiful, everyone has a different path, and I honor everyone's journey. So marriage is not for everyone. I don't even know if I want to get married. I just want to be with my person. Monogamy to me is very special and beautiful, but I also honor everyone's path. That's my path, and that could be your path. The energy is changing that maybe we don't want to get married at 20 because we're finding ourselves in a different way, but that still doesn't mean that marriage or commitment relationship is not beautiful, because it is. I trust so much in God, in source, in the divine timing, but that doesn't mean I just sit and lock myself in my room. There's inspired action that I have to take. But I listen. And so for me, for anyone, I think it's trusting the timing of everything, also working on yourself, but it doesn't mean perfection. There's a lot of people in relationships that are working things out too. So you don't need to get to perfection, but just knowing that you're worthy and that you deserve it and that you're open for it, like allowing your energy field to be open to it. But yeah, just trusting the process and taking inspired action when it calls. Like if I am sitting down, it's, oh my God, go to this coffee shop. Okay, I don't know. I just felt this random urge. Like I'm going to go. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to happen. Like I know that so much to be true in my bones, because God wouldn't put me here with a heart that I have. God wouldn't put me here with a heart that I have and to not match me with someone else to fulfill that. And it's also going to inspire my mission and my purpose as well. So I know that it's coming, but I've always known it's later in life for me. And that's just the cards that I chose. That's what my soul chose.
All right, we're going to do a fun little astrology coded segment. If signs were a reality TV show, who's the Bachelor and who would be Love Island?
Oh, Okay, Love Island would be a Sag. The Bachelor, maybe a Pisces, like hopeless romantic. I feel like The Bachelor has a little bit more hope of true love trying to be than Love Island.
If signs were toxic dating habits, who's ghosting and who's double texting?
Double texting, definitely Gemini, like triple, quadruple texting. Okay. And then ghosting could be Aquarius.
Okay. If signs were a first date spot, who's the dive bar versus
Nobu, Malibu, Taurus, or Capricorn for sure. And a dive bar could be, listen, you take any mutable sign, they're up for anything. Pisces could be there. It could be Aquarius.
Honestly,
it could be Sag. They would be down for anything. Like Sag would be like in a foreign country at a dive bar, meeting the locals. So yeah, it could be that too.
If signs were party behavior, who's disappearing without saying goodbye and who's closing the bar?
Closing the bar could be Leo. For sure. Leo likes to have a good time. And could be Virgo in a way, because Virgo just, they'd be like, it's a little too bright here, it's a little too dark here, it's a little too noisy, I just need to leave.
Who's classic chic and who's full chaos couture?
I'm going to say, who wants to leave? Scorpio could have left too. Scorpio would have been like, get the glasses out the back door. Chic could be Leo, Taurus, Capricorn. And then what was the other one?
Full chaos couture.
Oh, that's definitely Aquarius. Aquarius is wearing like something that nobody's had before, but bringing it in, and they don't give a fuck.
If signs were Dry Diary listeners, who's writing in confessions every week and who's lurking silently?
Oh, lurking silently, definitely Scorpio. Scorpios.
Yeah.
And then writing confessions, maybe an air sign, or it could be Libra, because Libra just wants a balance and they're about relationships. Or yeah, it could be other air signs like Gemini, Aquarius.
Okay. Do you want to get into the mini astrology?
Let's pull up your chart.
I'm excited.
Let's do this. Yeah, you need your freedom. And so who's ever going to be with you just needs to love that about you and honor that about you and thinks it's amazing. And yeah, people, we need to just really be who we are. And then people will honor that. Okay. You're born with your Mercury in Scorpio. So Mercury is your thought, your thinking, your communication, and it's retrograde. So right now Mercury is retrograde. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, you're actually going to have an easier time with it because we're not used to this energy. It just feels chaotic because it's something new for us and it's conjunct Pluto and you're a Sag. So you're actually very intuitive. So a lot of people don't like the word psychic, but we'll call it intuitive, but you're things. You've known things your whole life. So that's why your dad probably thinks it's weird, but no, you're just tapping into things. So I can definitely see you moving into this field, and it's important for you to dabble more in this because there's something that's going to come from that for you. Okay. Yeah. So you are here to be a public figure. Did your career change when you went through your Saturn return?
I was in social media management.
Yeah.
So.
And then when did you quit? I'm curious, was it around your Saturn return? Or was
it was.
Yeah, because Saturn's in your 10th house, which is connected to the career. So you are here to be a public figure and don't feel guilty if you actually put a lot of time into work because it's part of your karma and your dharma in this lifetime to really put yourself out there and make something of themselves. So when I see Saturn in the 10th house, sometimes people are like, have no clue what they want to do and do a million different things. Or sometimes they're so clear that like they're here to work and they work hard. I see it like one or the other, but career is a big part of your journey. So don't feel guilty about that. Because you brought up social media management and your Saturn's in Aquarius, let me break this down for you quickly. Basically, Aquarius is the waves that connect everyone together and it's how we bring humanity together. So the internet is very Aquarian. Nothing that we did is by accident. Like everything that we do is here to help us on our path. So I see you using the skills. You're obviously doing that now with the podcast, everything you do, but you're taking those skills because you're supposed to get the message out. You're here to help humanity shift our thinking and change. So if you didn't have your background in social media management, you wouldn't have been able to do your podcast. Something's going to come from your podcast, society with humanity. And this is a longer subject or topic, but that's just like the gist of it. Your mind is very deep and penetrating because your Mercury is conjunct Pluto. You also have to be careful sometimes your words, like you could be harsh to people, especially being a Sag and then having your Mercury conjunct Pluto. So it's just use it for power instead of overpowering.
Sometimes they come off a little too blunt.
Yeah, and it's in Scorpio, so it's anything specific that you want to know about.
Is there any good things coming up, like dates that I should be aware of, moons?
Yes.
Anything around like relationship or career?
You're actually moving out of some rocky stuff with career because Pluto is just squaring your angle of relationships. So you're actually moving into more peace in relationships because you were going through turmoil with Pluto squaring it. So it'll be easier for you. But really, it's like, what did you learn during this time? And then how could you move forward with this new wisdom and this new knowledge? That's really important for your soul to not do the same things that you were doing before because we all have patterns.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to be easier for you, relationships, because you're starting it with a new self.
Yeah, I've been single for a while.
It's better to be single when you're going through Pluto squaring your descendant because honestly, if you were in a relationship, it probably would have ended anyways. And then you have to go through all that. Heal what you need to heal. And then it's passing very soon. And then it's like, it's going to be a little bit of freedom. And then Uranus is moving into Gemini in April for everyone. And Gemini is your second house. And so this is going to be where money is going to be different. Money could come in, money could come out. It's more entrepreneurship. So I see you doing a lot more with that because this is like on your own terms. And it's do something new and different and unexpected. That's really going to help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to think that, oh, this is too cutting edge or people think it's weird. That's probably what's going to make you the money.
Yeah.
When I do my VIP sessions, they're an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also love how you interpret everything too.
Thank you.
Because I've talked to a few other astrologers and they were amazing as well.
Yeah. It's like, I always say, listen, it's great if you're channeling the Pleiades, cool. If you're channeling all these beings, but got it. I'm still here. I got to pay my bills. I got to drive to wherever. I got to get groceries. I want to be able to have the wisdom and live on earth. That's it. Like, we're not here to escape. Like, I'm not sitting on a mountain meditating all the time. I am here. I got to do my stuff. Like, I want to wear a cute outfit. I want to go out. I want to have fun as well. So it's like, how could I take the information and apply it to my life? Because the most spiritual thing that you can do is be here in your body, be present, and be in your heart. Yeah.
So how do people connect with you? You just said you do the VIP readings, but I know that you also have a membership.
Yeah, I do have a membership.
Now,
It's about $36 a month, and I keep it low because I didn't want people to not get healing or to not get activations. Sometimes I have higher price points for sure, but it's like everyone should be open to this. And I give so much information.
Yeah.
So I have a membership. It's called Cosmic Body Collective, and it's filled with meditations, the moon circles, which are $35 a la carte. And I have guest speakers, and then I'm doing more live talks, and I have download section where I just give you the downloads that are coming through, and I leave voice notes. I'm basically here. I call it the gym membership for your soul, because it's like, what do you do every single day? It's not here to take all your time. You have a life, you have kids, you have family. I just want to give you some nuggets so that you can apply that and go live your life. I would love everyone to join.
And then if someone wants like a private reading just for them.
I have very select because my schedule is busy. I'm working on my book, which I swear I hope it gets done before 25 years from now. So yeah, very select with that. And I usually offer it first to my members. Yeah.
Cool. That's so exciting. I can't wait to go look at it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So cool. And then they can go find it through your Instagram.
Yep.
Danielle Paige.
Yes, I am Danielle Paige. Yeah, Paige. And please help a sister out here. My account has not grown in years because of the things that I speak out and say.
Yeah, so let's go share all of her stuff.
Thank you.
Save it, like it.
Thank you.
I will post all of her socials below, as well as the website to your membership. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. You asked very good questions, and I'm very inquisitive with the Sag.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of the stuff you said is so relatable, but also so inspirational.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to another entry of the Dry Diaries. We will see you next week. Bye.